Healthy Rebel Radio is sponsored by the Healthy Rebel app. 300 plus secretly healthy, delicious, mouth-watering dessert and treat recipes made with all-natural, whole food ingredients. Now available for download on the App Store and Google Play. Find out more details at healthyrebel.com.
Welcome to Healthy Rebel Radio. I'm your host, Dr. David Deiser. I'm here with my Damie Health Healthy Rebel co-founder, Amy Lane. Good morning.
Good morning.
We're going to start today by talking about a PETA story that came out this morning. I mean, I know that these... I think I know how you feel about them, and I think I know how you'll respond to this one, but it's another PETA marketing campaign. PETA is the vegan... What does it stand for? The Protection of Animals group, and they promote veganism. And their campaign this morning is that the title is just simply this: consuming chicken will make your unborn fetus's penis small. And they don't use the word penis; they use another more derogatory word for the word. But it's based on the idea that the phthalates that are being found in chicken are hormone disruptors. Mm-hmm. So phthalates from the plastic that chicken is wrapped in. Are found in the chicken. There's no research that shows that chicken will make your unborn fetus's penis smaller. Mm-hmm. But they're trying to generate discussion around it.
You're right. And that's what they do. They try to get attention. And
my gosh, they get attention.
And they're one of those groups that I don't take issue with. I don't like it when they violate a personal space of somebody's. I think years ago when they were, throwing red paint on people's furs, I don't think that... I mean, we're still talking about it, so maybe it did work. Like, they're one of those groups where I would never tell them what to do, because I think they are the people that have to do some ugly things to draw some attention to some really important topics. But I think this is kind of what breeds the mentality of, like, what I talk about the mean vegans that just attack people that are trying. Right. And I don't think that's okay.
No. Yeah, you don't want to promote that, but my God, it's good clickbait.
No, and I'm not saying that I don't promote. I think they do what they do. It's like, I don't promote war, but I support the troops. Right. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Right.
I don't promote the mentality that this may breed of attacking people that are not vegan or haven't come all the way yet, but I support what they're doing. Right. And I think what they are doing is very important. I use their resources all the time when I'm looking into they're ahead of the curve, and they have amazing resources. When you're looking into like store-bought vegan foods of any different type, they have amazing resources on what's currently vegan where, like, even from like the difference between Canada and the US.
Really?
And, the pure vegan makeup, and then just the cruelty-free makeup. Like, they have all the different... they're an amazing resource. And, again, they're doing really important work. Yeah. And I think they have to do shocking things because, unfortunately, we live in a time where if you're not doing something shocking, you don't get recognized.
Oh, it's so true. I mean, we picked up on this research. It was on the show a couple weeks ago. We were talking about phthalates.
Yeah.
And estrogen and testosterone disruptors.
But nobody really cares when you're just saying things in this bland of a tone. Mm-hmm. Unless you're, like, very aware of your health. Like, these things are important because at least someone will look into it and be like, wait a second. It'll motivate people, like... Are there things that are disrupting people's hormones? Could this affect my child? Could this affect me?
Mm-hmm. And they chose chicken because it's something everyone eats, and it's often wrapped in plastic.
Right, and I think once you dive into chicken and you look at the antibiotics and the hormones, and then you do look at some of the research of, girls going to puberty earlier and, like, some suspicions as to where that's coming from, I think it's a really valuable conversation.
Definitely.
I really do.
Definitely. It's really generating buzz this morning. It's going to be talked about all week.
It's great.
Yeah, it's great. The next story we have this morning is from a blog called Quartz that I like to read. They highlight, some recent research that comes out in different categories that I'm not normally focused on. The one this morning is about creativity. and how walking stimulates creativity. And some of the best writers in the world are walkers.
Haha.
Haha. We all know your stance on walking, my gosh. But do you experience this? Do you think that walking stimulates creativity for you?
Yes. Wholeheartedly I do. It's for me, it's a form of meditation, it's a form of release, it's a form of grounding, it's a form of centering, it's, releases my anxieties, it brings me back to my center, to my core, and when all of that's taking place, then I'm able to focus on things like my creativity, and my creativity rises up and flows. 100%. There's never been a time in my life where I've done something creative that's been successful or has felt successful, like either has, been successful, say, in business, or has been, pleasurable, where I wasn't exercising. And with my exercise routine, I always include walking, because it's part of my health. It's part of my mental, physical, spiritual health routine. So, yes, that's what I say. Like, walking is a gift, and basically everyone can do it.
Right.
And I think everyone that's able should be doing it. Because it compounds with goodness. I can't even begin, I can't even put all the things in there.
Oh, I know. And I was so resistant to it at first, because you had me walking sometimes 3 hours a day. And it was just like, what?
Well, that's happening? When I first started, and I had a lot of stuff to emotionally work through too. I was doing everything to the full extent, and I needed. But
also, we ended up needing it. I mean, when you look back, it was probably the best thing we could have done.
And it was a very stressful time.
Things. Exactly.
Yes, it was a very stressful time, and it definitely helped. And you didn't see the value in it, because for the other half of my cardio, I was doing sprints, hill sprints, different drills that, NFL athletes do, and all these things that were just high intensity. And then I'd be like, today's walking day. And you'd be like, are you kidding me?
What?
What do you mean? Yesterday we did sprints and I could barely move, and today's walking? Why are we walking?
Yeah.
But you've grown to really enjoy it.
Oh, I love it. And you don't have to do 3 hours a day. It's not necessary.
If you're not married to me.
Going through certain periods of time, it's required. Yeah,
when we were going through a really stressful time, it was an amazing tool.
Oh, it really was. It really was. And more and more things are coming out. This one study, I want to explain what happened. They used a thing called the creative divergent thinking test, where you take the test during and right after walking. And they found that creative thinking was stimulated while you're walking and immediately after, compared to people who didn't walk. And it didn't matter where you walked. People who it wasn't a big deal if you were outside. There was no difference between being on a treadmill.
No, because I've done, and I can attest to that as well. I've had periods in my life where we lived in an unsafe neighborhood, and I've had no choice but to be on a treadmill. And instead of using tabloid magazines or that type of thing, I would either bring a stimulating book.
Yeah.
Or another great thing is the audiobooks. I have a lot of Marianne Williamson, Michael Beckwith, my, powerhouse leader people on, audiobooks, and I would either download a course, because you can do courses or books, which is amazing. And I would listen to those, or I would listen to nothing when I was in a good place. And I would just let my mind, and I really did, if I got that walk in, it was amazing.
Oh, amazing. And you're right, if you have a good mindset in the moment, then you can have positive thoughts flowing, and creativity can flourish in a positive way.
Definitely.
They're trying to figure out why this happens. Why do people become more creative? And what do you think?
Well, no, it's not I'm not trying to cut you off. I just want to say that walking for me is what people that love yoga and promote yoga, when they're talking about their yoga practice, and they're talking about the whole thing and the spiritual side and what it does for them and how it elevates them and the whole mental capacity and the, how it drives them, the whole thing, that's how I feel about walking.
Yes.
I'm not, I don't love yoga. I have no negative emotions towards yoga. It's just not my thing. I'm not a group class person, so I don't find that I would ever just do it on my own. And again, this could evolve. I could be taking this back in 2 weeks.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a great thing about life.
Yeah.
But so far in my life, I've tried yoga. I've tried, classes. I've tried on my own. It's not my thing. For me, walking, when it's the same as when I hear people really passionate and love their yoga practice, and those, you can tell that light around them and how they feel about it, and that it's more than an exercise. It's more than, it's a meditative, it's a lifestyle, it's a breathing, living thing. That's how I feel about walking.
Exactly.
And it's not cool. Like there's no like walking.
Well, maybe you can make it cool again.
I'd love
like
to.
Sleep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sleep and walking, but not at the same time.
Honestly, yeah. I would love to, do a whole book on walking. Like, my ideas are so not glamorous and cool, but they're so foundational and they've changed my life.
Yeah, you can't get a PETA title for this one. Well, maybe you could. I mean,
walking is dope.
Yeah. Walking will make you think of things that will change the world.
Honestly.
It's true. It's true. So they're trying to figure out why the heck is this happening? Why are people more creative when they're walking? And the current thought is not around blood flow to the brain like I thought it might be, or just getting the juices flowing type thing, in terms of when you exercise you get more positive mood and that kind of thing, and positive mood helps you be more creative. But what they think is this one simple thing: the brain is very, very good at walking.
I knew it.
It knows how to do it.
Yes, so it's a rhythmic.
Exactly.
I knew it.
Well, there's these things about, in anxiety, we talk a lot about keeping a focus on one thing.
Right.
And often it's helpful for anxiety if you focus on something you love, or focus on something you're really good at. And it helps reduce negative thinking, it helps reduce negative emotions, these types of things. But in terms of generating creativity, if you do something that your brain is already super good at, your brain is taking care of something, then it becomes very easy to be relaxed and think about other things. Because there's these parts of your brain are busy doing something it's really good at. It doesn't take any mental energy to walk. So the mental energy, you're expending energy, however, because you're moving.
Right.
You're expending energy, but it doesn't take any mental energy. So the mental energy can be used for creativity. Now, it's helpful to have a positive mindset, of course.
And what I used to do when I would start walking, to set my mindset, I would do the same type of thing I do with my journaling, except for when I started walking, I would just take deep breaths by myself, obviously, when I started walking, and I would go over things I'm grateful for. And I would just do a quick gratitude list, because I used to have a running anxiety. So no matter what I was doing, I would be anxious. And especially if I'm doing something quiet, peaceful, and nice, all of a sudden that anxiety would just creep up out of nowhere and it would become uncomfortable. So for me, when I would start walking, I would do some deep breaths. And then I would just go into some things that I'm grateful for. And I mean, it just resets your whole... you do that for 5 minutes.
Oh, it's so helpful. I think everyone should be doing it first thing in the morning, even if it's a little bit of a challenge at first. And even if it seems like nothing, it really isn't. It really is something powerful.
But it can't feel like nothing if you start with the basics. If you jump right into trying to trick yourself that, you're a multimillionaire and you're a fashion model and,
choosing
thank you for the Lamborghini I have in my driveway, all that stuff, that's, that takes steps, that's kind of crazy. What I would start with was, thank you for my bed. Thank you for that I have a bed to sleep in. So many people in the world don't have a bed. Thank you for the clean water that I have to drink. Thank you that I have a job that the majority of the time feels really good. Thank you that I have a job, that I can buy healthy food, that we can eat food. Thank you that I have a partner. Thank you for my dogs, my sweet little babies that have been here the whole time. Thank you for my overall healthy container of a body. Thank you that I have clean air that I can breathe. You start with that kind of stuff, and then you build onto the things that, the kind of monetary things, whatever you want to go into. And then if you want to go into, things you'd like to manifest and be grateful for them already, that's cool too.
Yeah.
But you don't have to start
start the way that you recommend. I think it's such a good reminder.
Because you can actually feel grateful for those things when you realize that those are a lot of things that a lot of people don't have and would love. If we remind ourselves that, the majority of our lives living here in a first world country is such a blessing. And we get so carried away in what we don't have and things not being perfect and not having this, beautiful, perfect life all the time, that we forget all the things that we have that other people would just love to have.
Yeah, it's true.
We should remain grateful for those things. it's a blessing.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a roof over your head, you have a chair to sit in, you have fresh water, and you have food to eat, that's a blessing.
And you can use those things to shape the course of your day, to bring in more good.
Oh, yeah. The more you're grateful for what you have and what is, first of all, it puts you in a space of gratitude. So you're going to go out into the world and have a more gentle, kind day.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to be at a different level, a different vibration. Instead of trying to go out there and get, you'll be in a giving mentality because you have.
You'll be able to lift others.
That's how it is. And you won't vibe with someone that's a super low energy. Mm-hmm. They just won't vibe with you anymore. So either they'll fall off and fall out of your life in some capacity, or you just won't care that they're there. They won't affect you anymore.
Exactly. And on that note, we got an email when we first started the show about talking about vibes not being scientific based, and I'd like to speak to that for a second.
Yeah, that was quite funny.
Because this person wanted to share our show with their science students because there's half the show was based on research and half the show was based on vibes or feeling or
basically,
intuition.
she was saying, she was a science teacher, and she was basically saying what David was saying was valid and what I was saying was invalid and wasn't real. That vibes weren't real. And I just, first of all, I'll let you speak, but if you're a woman and someone, first of all, if I was the mother of one of those students, and especially if I had a female student, and a teacher was telling my female student that vibes weren't real, I would lose my mind. When I was little, that's all we were taught. My dad would sit down. If you get a bad vibe, and my dad was a science teacher.
Oh my God, that's funny.
He'd say, if you get a bad vibe, if you feel wrong in a situation, if someone makes you feel uncomfortable, if it feels wrong, if that vibe is off, he used to say, women are powerful. Women have a sixth sense. Women know before other people. And if you feel it, you trust it, and you get out of that situation. And that's how we were raised. And it saved my life many times. Mm-hmm. So if a science teacher was telling the opposite to my child, I would lose it.
Oh,
so,
yeah, definitely.
Anyway, this woman emailed in basically to say that David was doing great and I was full of...
Well, I'd like to speak to that for a second because there's tons of research, specifically one study we actually shared, I think, about a month ago. Today we were talking about, what were we just talking about? About doing gratitude exercises and raising your own vibration for the day and how that can contribute to others and how you can give to others and how you can be more and help shift the vibe of rooms. Well, there's good research to show that when you go into a room with a smile on your face, when you go into the room in a positive mood, people in the room then mimic your facial expressions, which then changes their brain chemistry. That's proven. So if you can easily change the vibe of a room by being in a positive state. And that's research-based information, people. If you are going through life in a positive manner, you will raise others. So, let's not ever discount vibe. And it's a different type of vibe that you're saying. Yours is on an intuition side, and there's research for that as well, and I should pull some of it up and we'll go through it. But this is along the lines of gratitude, setting your day, setting others, helping others with their day, and being a positive, contributing positively to society. You can raise the vibe of any room you go in simply with facial mimicry research. So let's not discount any of that.
Well, I have to say, again, I think it's really dangerous that there's someone so passionate that they would email us that, what I believe and what I stand for is just false because she can't find a scientific study that suits her. But I think it's really dangerous that she's in charge of children and actually said she was going to tell them that, intuition, vibes, none of it is real. Mm-hmm. That scares the crap out of me.
Oh, you have to watch it because if you get set in one specific opinion about one thing and you get really, really passionate about it, that's a red flag.
Especially if you start discounting things that could keep individuals safe.
Exactly. You may be missing something very, very important.
And not only that, all the people that I really admire in business that are not airy-fairy, that are not, I don't even know how to say it. Like, they're not quote unquote spiritual people, all the business people that are just factual, very like degree, blah, 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 like this guy Kawasaki.
Mm-hmm.
The book we were just reading, he's about business, and
he's an MBA, actually. He's an MBA.
Right. They all talk about business. They all talk about intuition.
Mm-hmm.
And that it should be a tool that's used. I'm not talking about, like, going out into the day and, like, feeling the vibe and then deciding, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like, I mean,
I know exactly what you're
anyway, I find it I find it scary that there's teachers out there that passionate that they're going to go teach kids that that's not real. I think that's scary, and I hope that parents become vigilant about that. That should not be something that's taught for a child to ignore any emotion that feels anything for them. Either if something feels really good or if something feels really bad. That scares me.
Oh, even in science. I mean, if you I'm reading the Einstein biography right now.
Yes.
And a lot of where he directed his energy, in terms of what he wanted to study and what he wanted to look into, was based on these intuitions, these ideas that were born through something outside of him,
which you can't put down on a factual piece of paper. It was an intuitive
and he
guidance
followed
system.
it, and it guided his research and all these things. I love it.
All great people. Part of me feels like we should have wrote this woman back, but I'm trying to.
No.
Well, I'm trying to embody more and more, especially this year, the when a dog barks, it's insane to bark back.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to only indulge in conversations that I think are worthy.
Yeah, and also she's coming from a place of, probably has a master's in science or something, that said that if something is, not blatantly objectifiable in your mind, then it's not science. But that is often not the case and shouldn't be taught, because there's you have to look beyond that statement of objectifiability. In this case, there's studies on facial mimicry, which is very objectifiable.
But personally, part of me thinks that her intuitive side was what would drive a person to tell other people this. Why would, does she think she's going to change me and change my behavior and alter who I am? Who does she think she is to do that? So part of me thinks maybe her intuition and her inner guidance system was getting her to email so that I would email her back and tell her something different. Maybe her intuition was trying to drive her to hear something different. Maybe she knows intrinsically her overbearing nature is wrong.
Oh, I love it. That's an interesting take.
But I deleted it.
Good. Well, that's our show for today. That's Healthy Rebel Radio. Thank you so much for listening, and have a great day.
See you.
Healthy Rebel Radio is presented by the online health and wellness center, DamiHealth.com. Since 2009, Amy Lane has successfully coached thousands of women through her signature program, the Bikini Body Program. Join today to work exclusively with Amy to unveil your greatest yet to be from the inside out. Go to DamiHealth.com for more information.
Thank you for listening to Healthy Rebel Radio. Please connect with us on our community pages on Facebook, Pinterest, and Instagram, all at the handle @DamiHealth. For weekly recipes, articles, and all our episodes straight to your inbox, join our newsletter at DamiHealth.com. You can find all the links discussed in today's episode in the show notes. Thank you for joining us, and see you tomorrow.